mean, at the end of the day, you have to man up or lady up or whatever the case may be. You're in business to make money. Let me just crush everything out there.
Right.
To make money, you've got to be the best at something to really make money. If you don't make money, you're out of business. So all your good holistic thoughts, I want to do this, I want to do that. You can't do any of it. Guess what? You can't give any money away when you don't make money. Okay, you can't build a great culture if you don't have a great company. You don't have a great company if you don't make money. Okay, so the law of profit says you better be great at something. You better make money at it. And I've never found a company that's not. Great companies let you know, hey, we do that better than anybody.
Wanna cause no problems. I just wanna live my life, but I keep on hearing about nonsense. Me and my dons ain't mobsters, but you know when you see imposters. We know how to read them faces, same way you know how to read them comments. If you wanna talk, let's talk, but around here, make sure you walk and your talk is constant.
Well, anyways, Sean, thank you so much for joining us at the Death to Vanilla podcast, where we talk about courageously creating, boldly innovating, and experimenting. And so I'm excited to have you on. You have a ton of business experience. I see you've been a speaker at some really awesome events. You have some great books that you're offering, and just like an impressive portfolio. So I'd love for you to get a chance to introduce yourself, brag about yourself a little bit, and tell us what you're all about.
Yeah. Hi, again, Sean Castrina. I'm an author, but most importantly, I'm an entrepreneur. If I wasn't starting businesses, I wouldn't write, because I think my stuff would be stale. So I'm really committed to that section of it. So yeah, I typically start a company and or a division within a company every year, and I've been doing it for over 20 years, and I write books about it. So there you go.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I got to start out with a selfish question. So, and this one was totally off the cuff, because I don't get a chance to actually talk to many book authors. So this is exciting for me. I listened to a podcast, and they talked about some of the dynamic differences between, say, video and maybe like even like a keynote speech in a book. And what they said is that a book is education first, entertainment second, and like a video would be entertainment first, education second. I think I said that right order. Yeah. Would you, what is your thoughts on that? Like, do you find that to be true, or how do you kind of approach that?
Well, I mean, in a book, a person is typically more patient, because they just most people understand there's a start, there's a first chapter and an ending. So I think just they're more trained to be a touch more patient. Where video, anything on a screen, what is it, 5 seconds on YouTube before you can skip the ad or something. So I think we've just been trained to dismiss any video. You better grab my attention. You better be great, creative, fast, amazing. I mean, you got TikTok. And so I just think, yeah, there's no question that that's accurate.
Okay, cool. That's, like I said, that's kind of a selfish question of my own, because I feel like, I don't know if have you done any research with like the Enneagrams or like the personality types of that nature?
I mean, I've done everything on personality types. I was a psych major in college, so I'm very familiar with.
Perfect.
You got people that analyze things, and then you got people that that we definitely have. There's a lot of ways to attract a lot of different people.
100%. Well, yeah. So the reason I ask is because I discovered recently I'm an Enneagram 5, which is an investigator. So I'm very much into like learning, and I read a lot of books and stuff like that. And so for me, I was like, you know what? I think I actually might be stronger like as a personality type from a book than I would a video. And so that was like kind of exciting to me to hear that, because I was like, you know what? I don't know if I have enough to say in a book yet, but it certainly makes it a much more attractive option as someone who's trying to promote a business.
Yeah, and selling people like you, like we have personality types. You're the granular, you're the engineer. You want to know how we're going to make the soup.
Yep.
Other people just want to know what the soup is. It going to taste good, and when can I get it, or how much is it going to cost? So you're the how are you going to make it?
Well, and that's so true, because that's been one of my biggest struggles as a business owner, driving sales and everything like that, is getting caught up too much in the granular, not enough focused on like the benefits, features versus benefits, right?
Absolutely.
But before we go down that rabbit trail too much, I wanted to talk a little bit about marketing. Obviously, you have a lot of experience with that, just because you've had to market your ideas, right? If you're starting something new all the time, you've got to be able to explain it, communicate it, get buy-in from it. which to me is a lot of what marketing is. It's not simply just sales; it's about messaging and so on and so forth. So, for you, the Death to Vanilla podcast is all about saying something, doing something, marketing something in a way that like stands out, as opposed to just blending in with everything else. Like you talked about, people are waiting every second of the 5 seconds to skip a YouTube ad. So, what for you is like bold marketing, or does that mean it's risky? Does that mean it just says something crazy? Like, what does that mean to you?
I think the first thing, I think there's fundamental rules in everything. As an athlete and anything that I do, I think there's just fundamentals. Play soccer, you got to be able to kick the ball, head the ball, throw the ball in, and stop a goal. You can dress everything up, but if you can't do those 4 things, you're probably not going to have a very good soccer team. And I tell you, in marketing, it's true. There's a lot of ways to do all the components of it, but number one is until you know your target audience. If my target audience is over 55, I probably don't need to wow them with something silly or stupid or whatever the case may be. But if they're under 25, I may need to go a different approach. So I think I still think the fundamental rule is know who you're communicating with, and you'll find and then you have to have a message that resonates with that audience and gets their attention and drags them through the buying process. So, I think sometimes we can get too cute. Like sometimes I watch a commercial and at the end of the day, it failed in the fundamentals. What are you selling? Why should I buy it from you?
Okay.
Like they were so cute that it's over and I don't know what they were selling. I don't know why I should buy it. So it entertained me, but it did not sell me. It did not, I don't remember the company. Sometimes you can get really too cute.
Right. Yeah, that reminds me of an ad that I hear all the time on the radio. I'm not I think it's just a local company in Arizona, but they have a guy that has like a really funny, like not like a Swedish accent. I can't really place it, but it's a foam company for like insulation. It's like they're like 222 foam, and it's like one of those things where like you hear that so many times, like you cannot forget that phone number. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cute in the sense they have like funny accent for it and everything else, but like you can actually remember how to contact them, and it's literally the word foam. There's no guessing what they're selling,
and
that stuff's
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can be cute. There's a lot of ways to get people's attention. Without question, you have to get someone's attention. There's no getting around that. Marketing has to grab their attention. Look at the Geico commercials and Old Spice, where they, you got to get somebody's attention. But then you got to tell them what it is you're selling. And then there has to be some pitch as to why I should buy it from you. They're fundamentals, and you can get cute, and there's a million ways to do that now. But you still have to touch those bases, I think.
Right. So maybe this is, are you comfortable sharing like stories of things that didn't work that you were able to turn around?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I know. I'm not, ask me anything.
So I would love to hear, since you have, rather than what you've seen, I'd love to hear what you've experienced as far as like what's something that you like miscommunicated at first when it came to the marketing of it, and then like made an adjustment, and kind of walk us through like how you were able to navigate that.
Yeah, the key thing is that I'm pretty good with marketing as a general, but there are times where I thought something would resonate in an area and it just didn't.
Okay.
So it's not, I don't rarely, sometimes you just run something in the medium that you use. It might be a new direct mail piece that is new to the area, or it's a radio station that really doesn't have your target customer. Typically, I've picked bad vehicles before, but they've worked on many other vehicles. So that's, I've never found that to be what I've learned in advertising. This might be more helpful to your audience. If it doesn't work, you can't fix it. Listen what I'm saying to you. I'm talking 80% of the time. If you try something and it has no traction, scrap it and redo it. Because I've never turned something around, is what I'm trying to tell you. Mm-hmm. If the people, they'll try to get you on 3-month contracts. Well, you got to have reputation. And I owned a 7-figure direct mail magazine. Okay, I understand how to get you under a contract. I own a very lucrative digital marketing company. I understand marketing, and I'm telling you, my business owners, don't sign. If you're a new company, don't sign on for something long. If it has, you'll know if it has some teeth. You may have to modify it a little bit, but you'll be getting a lot of calls. Maybe they're not buying, so maybe you're not getting your target customer. You can tweak that a little bit. But if it's crickets, you have failed. It's either the wrong message, the wrong medium you're using. You're missing on a massive component, and you better restart that.
So, I mean, that's perfect with like the whole experimenting thing that I was talking about earlier as one of kind of like the bedrocks of what we desire is do you have a framework in which you do your experimenting? Because obviously, like you said, if something doesn't work, there could be so many different things that are wrong about it. It could be the messaging, it could be the target audience, it could be the product. How do you have like a framework that you work through that experimentation process?
Yeah, the one thing that I've learned is one of the bigger mistakes that we tend to do is we're going to launch a company, for example, or we're going to start the new year off. We're doing like 4 different things. Do one thing at a time. That way you can hold its feet to the fire. So instead of you trying to do everything, just say, okay, for January through mid-February, I'm going to do this. Through February 15th and March 31st, I'm going to do this, and track the daylights out of it. How many leads did you get? How many calls did you get? How many conversions? Just, create a dashboard for everything that you're doing. The problem is we got 4 different things going on. We don't know who to give credit for it. And sometimes 4 things created the credit. Example, and I understand it because I do what I call layered marketing. In other words, I own a lot of home service companies. So I understand that I need to get your attention, but I need to get over your skepticism. I need to build credibility. So I have radio commercials that run all day long on nothing but testimonials. They're not designed to pitch you to buy me. All I want you to say when you're getting ready to go shopping is, I've heard good things about so-and-so.
Mm-hmm.
See, I do layered marketing. So when I do a radio, I've tried radio. It doesn't move the needle for me, but it's very good. It's a 1-minute format. You have them trapped in the car. It's a good way to do testimonials. I think better than any other method, and or a TV. So in other words, I know this because I've done it for so long, but if I did 4 things at one time, I wouldn't really know what's working and what's not working. So the 2 pieces of advice I give anybody who's owning a business is let each vehicle stand on their own for 6 weeks. That's the only way you can truly know what works. Number 2 is if it's crickets, it's a bad vehicle, bad message. It's one of the 2, and it's typically a bad vehicle.
Okay.
If you put it on the right vehicle, you're still going to get some type of, somebody's going to reach out to you.
Right.
So
okay. No, that answers that question perfectly.
Yeah.
There was something I was thinking while you were mentioning that. Yeah, I mean, I guess for me that resonates a lot because I feel like I, with like social media specifically, like some of on the digital side of the marketing, we have these programs that can help us post to like every single social media platform known to man, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, all these other ones. And I feel like at some point, each one of those platforms kind of require their own like strategy, effort, type
Absolutely.
of medium. And so at that point, it's like, okay, I'm posting everywhere. So I'm not like missing out on a specific audience, but like, how do you even know you're doing well?
You don't know what works. See,
exactly.
This is the game. This is the game of advertising. It's a really simple game. You're trying to lower your cost per acquisition to the lowest humanly possible. That is marketing. That is the home run. The home run in marketing is I've acquired a target customer for less money than my competitor or less money than I even budgeted for. It's Moneyball,
Right.
like the old book about the Oakland A's. The big thing is on base percentage. He found out was the only statistic that was the most valuable statistic. So if he could put people on bases for the least amount salary cap wise, it was, that was, the concept. It's the same thing with marketing. I have a numerical number of leads I need to get per week. This number I can look at my revenue, I can look at my profit. I'm telling you, the leads knock down all the other dominoes. So I got to get that number. I know what that magic number is. Now the key is I've got to get that number. Needs to be quality people. Now I know
Right.
my target customer. If not, they're not going to buy. Example: if I own a home improvement company and my targeting renters in apartments, I can get 40 calls. They're all worthless. So they still have to be your target quality customer. But then once you hit that, then you got to tweak it and try to keep getting that cost per acquisition lower. I mean, that's the game. And you can't do it if you're on 5 different mediums. You don't know what, each one of them have a different cost, and that's why it's so diluted. Sometimes with impressions, clicks, and hey,
Yeah.
I want a customer. Let's skip all that. I need a customer. A customer is somebody who bought from me. I need to reverse engineer their buying process. So you want to find out what's going to work in your marketing. Find the last 10 people who wrote you a check, bought from you. They're the people you need to get on the phone with and say, hey, listen, Mrs. Smith, we're going to give you such and such for free. We're so grateful that you're a customer. We're always trying to improve our marketing, keep our costs, affordable. What made you buy from us? Where did you see us? What about our ad? Get somebody on the phone and just ask them that. Give them something to give you that information and just say, I'm going to take 1 minute of your time. It's old school, but that's how you get the information.
Is that one of those conversations you find yourself having over and over again?
And I'm always asking customers because I want to know. That's why I know that radio doesn't make them bring up the phone, but I've talked to enough customers saying, I hear so much about you guys. Well, I know the only way the place they're hearing that is on the radio. So I can reverse engineer the process. They're like, I heard so much about you over the last 6 months. And then I got such and such in the mail. And then I saw a TV commercial. And so it might've been the combination of two, so you got to reverse engineer the buying process. You always got to keep saying, why did they buy from me in the first place? And then kind of own that buying process, that marketing process.
Right. So, I know a lot of people, what's been your experience with TikTok so far? Because I know a lot of people have been jumping in on it because it's new, because people are making huge audiences. You know what I mean? It's one of those emerging platforms, right? So the algorithm hasn't choked it out quite yet. Have you played around with that at all? Has that been something that you've jumped on, or have you really not had any businesses where that audience was going to be a win for you?
Yeah, I haven't. I try not to jump on things that are completely new.
Mm-hmm.
I like them to kind of flesh themselves out. I'm more of a Warren Buffett guy. I like to see I like to flesh them out a little bit first.
Right.
But then, then I'll jump into something. But again, the biggest question I have is I know my target customer is for all my businesses. So if they're not, it doesn't, if I thought a hot air balloon over a wine tasting would work, because that's probably my target customer. That's people over the age of 35 with money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm advertising there. Again, the basics are still the basics. You can be fun, you can be cute, you can do all that stuff. I have no problem with it. But you still have to attract your target customer with a message that makes them reach out to you and then buy. And the fundamentals are still the fundamentals. And I've owned direct mail magazines in 23 cities. I own a digital marketing company. I have an ad running on during the Super Bowl in our region for my companies. I mean, I do it all. I don't care. I'm not a respecter of any of them. It's cost per acquisition. Now, perfect example, I'm running a Super Bowl ad. That's big money. So I know that's got to knock over a lot of dominoes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't even put it on the hook for generating a customer. I use it completely as brand building. I earmark it because branding is one of the fundamentals of marketing. So I don't even try to hold it up to a numerical standard. I know that, okay, what happens if this many people see our ad, see a testimony during the Super Bowl? What is that worth over the next 12 months? I tend to believe it's worth quite a bit, because so there's a lot of ways to accomplish that.
No, I think that's great. And I think that kind of, for me, brings up a kind of like a next step question, which is like, okay, brand awareness is obviously huge. Let's just say we have our ducks in a row and we've got, steps 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Like, where do you, is brand awareness something that you're doing, steps 1 through 5, or is there, what's up?
The day you open your business.
Okay.
The day the bottom line, people buy from people they like and trust, period. Here's another fundamental. Barring being the cheapest person, which is hard to compete in, people buy from people they like and trust. Now, trust can be that they believe you'll deliver on what you say you're going to deliver on. The old Domino's pizza. I'll get you pizza in under 30 minutes or less. I trust that you'll provide. I'll trust that you're going to give me an edible pizza in 30 minutes. That was it. That was their value proposition. They beat that and people bought it. Whatever that case may be. But people buy from people they like and trust. So that's a fundamental. Well, that's brand. I mean, you're constantly you're building your brand, and however you choose, like how, Red Bull's a different branding position than Coca-Cola.
Very
Mountain Dew is somewhere in the middle. Mountain Dew is kind of grabbing a little bit of the Red Bull idea, but in other words, again, they each have a different target customer. So you're constantly messaging and branding, who's our company and why should you buy from us? I mean, in essence, that's your brand. I always say your brand is if you want to, here's just a free piece of advice. This is the best thing that I've ever come up with in marketing. And I read books constantly and I teach at colleges and whatever the case may be. You want to find your branding position. You're getting ready to launch a company. This right here is worth the entire podcast. What one promise that you can deliver on that your competition fails to, that if your target customer heard it, they would chase you down for your business. Think about that again. What one promise, if you could deliver on it and your target customer heard about it, they would chase you down for your business. Every business follows that principle that's successful. Amazon, what if we get you anything in the world with one click? One click, get it there in 24 hours. That's kind of the promise they've made to us. Southwest Airlines, we'll fly you anywhere for cheaper. Okay, that's the promise that they're making. FedEx, how did they beat UPS and United Post Office? What if we can get a package overnight anywhere in the world? That was their one promise. Look at Nike. What if we could put our shoes and apparel on the most esteemed athletes on the planet? I think you'd buy from us. Yeah, it worked. Bo Jackson, John McEnroe, early on, that's how they did it. They got the most recognized athletes in the world to wear their shoes and attire. Bo knows all the way back to then. Great companies don't muddy the water with 50 things. Geico, what if we could save you 15%? Give us 15 minutes, we'll save you 15%. Allstate, safe drivers save 20%. It's all one. At the end of the day, you got to make one promise that you think can outposition your competition. That's great marketing. The problem is we try to market 5 different things, or we change what it is every 2 months.
Right.
I'm saying you got to find that one value proposition, which is that one promise, and build your entire brand around that.
Well, I feel like that is exactly some of the journey that I saw Burger King go through, right? Because they had, people wanted healthy options, and they wanted to serve this and serve that and serve this, and at the end of the day, like they've kind of embraced the idea that like people are there for a Whopper, that's it. Yeah. And like that's what all their like signs show. That's what they advertise. Like that's what they have like their juicy sounds on their TV ads. And it's like they serve Whoppers, and yes, they serve other things, and yes, they're delicious. But like that, they've had to learn to embrace that one thing.
KFC went through the same thing. Mm-hmm. When everything was getting healthy, everything was going to get Kentucky. We want fried chicken.
Yeah,
we want greasy fried chicken. That's exactly what we want.
I don't want deep fried tofu. I want fried chicken.
Exactly. If I want to go to a nutritious choice, I'm probably going to, that's a different spot. Can't be all things.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I really appreciate you bringing that up about that one promise. And I feel like there's this like odd trend that I've been bringing up to different people, and I kind of want to get your take on it, which is like this weird like false humility with people where they're like they really downplay what it is they do or how awesome they are. And I kind of feel like at the end of the day, you really have to make kind of like obviously it's a promise you can deliver on, but you really have to like beat your chest and say like, hey, we're the best at something. And I feel like people are really hesitant to do that now. It's not so much like bigger businesses, they get it. And, but as a business gets smaller, it becomes more personal because, usually like the founder or the business owner is like that's their baby and stuff like that. And so there is more of an emotional thing, but I'd be curious what your take is on that.
Yeah, I think they're there's a word for it, but you'd beep it out of the podcast. I mean,
My last
guess
guest
what?
swore, so you can go for it.
It was probably a lady part. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to man up or lady up or whatever the case may be. You're in business to make money. Let me just crush everything out there.
Right.
To make money, you've got to be the best at something to really make money. If you don't make money, you're out of business. So all your good holistic thoughts, I want to do this, I want to do that. You can't do any of it. Guess what? You can't give any money away when you don't make money. Okay, you can't build a great culture if you don't have a great company. You don't have a great company if you don't make money. Okay, so the law of profit says you better be great at something. You better make money at it. And I've never found a company that's not great. Companies let you know, hey, we do that better than anybody. There's never been a company that goes, by the way, we suck at this. Just so you know, no, we suck. Really, out of 10 companies, we're probably number 9. And I'd like you to buy from us. I mean, it just makes no sense, right? I want you to buy from, no, we really are pretty average now that I think about it. No, it doesn't work.
Not very inspiring, is it?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of that building trust part where it's like, you really have to believe that someone believes in themselves to deliver on that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it's like, why would you waste your time?
Yeah, you know what? This still works around the world. Still works in America. We still like greatness.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody tiptoes around it, but no, we really like greatness. We admire greatness. Now, are we really surprised when Jeff Bezos is worth over $100 billion? Anybody should be worth over $100 billion. The person running Amazon, because I buy something every 7 hours.
So true.
I'm not shocked. Right? I'm not shocked. Guess what? Elon, if you could put somebody on Mars or what SpaceX, you can put somebody in space, you can partner with, NASA to do that. And by the way, you can create an electric car that can do it in 3.5 seconds and looks decent. All right, I think you're worth 100 to 200. I think that idea is in that category. We're not shocked. Greatness leads footprints, and we admire these people. Look at everybody who's super great. It's not like when you go like, well, Warren Buffett, he's been an average investor for years. No, we know he's the greatest investor to breathe oxygen. Right? We know he's the greatest. It's okay to be great.
Well, okay, so then I got to ask you another personal question then, because obviously, like, you've built a personal brand, right? Your name is not just tied to the businesses you have, right? You have your own name, right?
Exactly.
And you do these businesses. So did you struggle with like imposter syndrome as you were like building, or was that something where like you just looked at your work and you're like, yep, that's good?
I think you have to, I tell people when you start a business, grab a massive branding position from the beginning and then live up to it.
Okay. So you're going to experience imposter syndrome because...
Yeah, there's a point where you're kind of faking it till you make it. Like Andre Agassi said at one point that, there is a point, but you better grow into them shoes fast, and you still have to deliver on what you promise.
Sure.
Example, how many times do you hear like radio ads where somebody says that they're the greatest sales trainer in the world? I've heard how many people claim to be the greatest. It's who can identify it? I mean, what's the measurable on that?
Right.
It's like, what's the measurable? So you can grab a big branding position, but you better grow into it quick.
That reminds me. So have you ever watched Elf?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
With Will Ferrell, and when he runs into that coffee shop, and he's like, "Congratulations, best cup of coffee!" And it's like, who's walking around deciding who has the best cup of coffee? But it didn't stop them from putting it up on the sign. And obviously it's a movie, but you see that stuff everywhere, where it's like there's these unmeasurable claims that like sound really cool, but it's like, well, how did you arrive to that? How did you get to decide if you're the best one in Arizona or the United States? It's like, who's to say you're wrong either?
Exactly. I mean, I've always taken big branding positions, always, and I think it's smart. Gives you something to live up to.
What was yours?
My first company, I started an auto detailing company 25 years ago. Our tagline was America's Choice in Mobile Detailing. I started a home remodeling company. It was called The Leader in Home Repairs and Projects was our tagline. I started a deck refinishing company, America's Choice in Deck Refinishing. I can go on and on. Every company I do, I grab the boldest position from day one. If I can trademark it, I'm in.
So did you just not sleep until you figured out how to do that, or like how did that happen?
Grow into it. You just got to grow into it.
Right.
No, it's just like, you know, you got who wants to be average?
Right.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be proud of myself when I saw myself in the mirror. So I don't think I'm the only one.
Well, no, I think it's good, and I think people should know that, and yeah, I think it's important. You know, make a big claim and grow your company into it.
Right. That's good. Okay, so then if we're gonna go ahead and wrap up, like, obviously, you know, personal branding has been a huge thing for you, and how have you found ways to kind of like leverage that for your businesses? Has it just gained you a massive amount?
I absolutely separate the two.
Oh, really? Okay.
I really do. What because my business is I own local companies. The thing that my employees always say to people is, Sean doesn't need your money. That's kind of my branding position within my companies. Trust me, Sean doesn't need your money. He owns the company because he wants to. He doesn't need to. So I've just leveraged my success in that way.
Right. I feel like that puts you like in a very non-intimidating position where like people can feel more comfortable with you.
Yeah, they do. Like, yeah. So my branding position is that I do really well for a living, and so I don't need to rip you off. You know, I don't need to own this company unless I thought it was bringing value to you.
Nice. Well, cool. Well, hey man, I appreciate you just brought so many amazing things. Like I'm gonna be re-listening to this multiple times. So I appreciate your input and your wisdom on this. This has been really incredible. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I'd love for you to share. We'll obviously throw it into like the show notes and everything like that. But if you could share ways that people could learn about you, maybe some resources you have, and share that'd be great.
Yeah, let me just give you a free book. If you go to SeanCastrina.com, my name, obviously, my 8 Unbreakable Rules for Business Startup Success is on there, and it's free. And you can follow me on Instagram. I have a pretty large following there, so Sean Castrina. So they're the two best ways, and I'm the host of the 10-Minute Entrepreneur Podcast. I speak in like 10 minutes. That's kind of like my brain. I give you a lot, like it's like drinking out of a fire hose.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, the 10-Minute Entrepreneur Podcast.
Sweet. Well, we'll make sure people check that out. Thank you so much.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for letting me be on the podcast.
Oh, my pleasure. You have a good one.
Wanna cause no problems. I just wanna live my life, but I keep on hearing about nonsense. Me and my dons ain't mobsters, but you know when you see imposters, we know how to read them faces, same way you know how to read them comments. If you wanna talk, let's talk, but around here, make sure you walk and your talk is constant. Hey, I seen it all before I heard chat that they all adore. 1 week looking like they all aboard. Next day they don't even walk the walk. I've been here since a bust down aqua, cutting through after all black master. Now I'm too grown for acting gaffer, trying to pay off my madre's gaff cuz took the wife and there's a rotted ass peak.